So I want to show you guys a project I did this summer. It's a game that's supposed to be sort of like a space shooter. Um, it's got mechanics that I copied from games like Ace Combat, where you fly with around with a plane. It's supposed to be not a flight simulator, but space combat simulator. I just used the model of a plane because I wanted to have something to start off with. We've got guns, we've got missiles, we've got aim controls. If you've got the guy locked on and you fire a missile, it's gonna hit and damage him. And if you're close enough to actually get him in the gun reticle, like so, you can actually have auto aim. But the hitboxes are kind of screwed up, so it's not perfect. Come on. We also have some primitive AI. As you can see, there's some commands, some debugging text printed on the left. Those are supposed to be the states. I've made some AI with some states, like a state machine, and they're supposed to, based on where you're positioned, they're supposed to adjust their own positions and adapt based on the combat. Look, I hit him now. I hit this guy. As you can see, it's not really a game. It's more like a foundation. We have gameplay that's clear. I wanted to actually make a finished product and sell the game, but after I finished doing the framework for the combat mechanics, I had to actually create content like models and textures and all that stuff, and I had a lot of ideas, but didn't I kind of ran out of inspiration. I didn't know how to put them together, and modeling was also kind of cumbersome. So I put it on hold. I mean, I can still work on it, and it's pretty awesome. Let's take a look at how I've done the coding. So as I was saying, I was trying to make the game fast and on my own, so I went with the easy way and used blueprints. Let's take a look. So we've got the ship class, for instance. This has I don't know, some stuff in here to initialize it. Position. This I think computes the movement of the ship based on controls and whatnot, and speed. NPC heading, this is a function for for AI controlled ships. Destroy self. Bullet firing. This You've got gun guidance and targeting for both AI and for the player. So the player is gonna have the aimbot on at all times, and the player can have it if we're in that range for the gun reticle. Let me show you the model. So you've got these reticles. The green cone, if you've got a ship within it, you can scan the ship and have it become your new target. If you've got the ship in this orange cone within the bounds of this one, you can fire a missile with a lock on, so it's gonna actually have the missile guided towards that. And since this was gonna be a submarine game, it's actually a torpedo, not a missile, but you're gonna see it referenced both as missile, i.e. projectile, or torpedo. The model is called a torpedo. And the smallest reticle here, the red reticle, is for gun targeting. So if we have a ship within the bounds of this volume, it's gonna enable, I think it's gonna enable the aimbot on the player, and I'm not sure for the AI ships if this is used as their targeting or if they have a larger one. I kind of forgot. It's December. I worked on this in June, July, and like I said, I didn't touch it since then. The fire missile function just spawns a missile, and I think the missile class has a target, and the missile is basically just like an AI controlled ship, and it's guided towards some point, tracking that its target ship. Fire bullet is a complex one, so if you've got if you have no gun guidance, let's see. So this is the gun guidance boolean. If it's not true, it's just gonna shoot at whatever. And if it is true, so the bullets will be unguided, right? If they collide with something, great. But otherwise, there's not gonna be any sort of aim assist. But if it's locked, it's gonna apply a rotation towards the impact point. What does that mean? It's gonna rotate like the barrel of the gun, and that the barrel still shoots straight, but it's gonna shoot straight towards a guided direction. And I used this one seems to be unconnected to anything, this second degree equation thing, but I used some formula for ballistics, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really remember what I implemented here, but as you can see, it's some interesting equations that compute the intercept point, basically knowing the position of the ship that's shooting, the ship where the shooter is shooting towards, and their speeds, their velocity vectors actually. And based on that, you have some formula which triangulates, basically literally triangulates the vector that's needed to get from the shooter's barrel towards the location at which the target will be when. So it's basically trying to make the trajectories of the enemy and the bullet intersect, right? And that's how you see. Hold on. That's how we. So this is again unguided, and if we're gonna get that targeted, yeah. And by the way, I'll explain with the tracking as well. And let's boost it a bit. Again, as you can see, we've got it. We've got the enemy in our lock, and the reason why it's so hard to hit them when they're like this is because, like I said, I haven't adjusted the hitboxes, and they're literally trying to get behind me. It's saying tailgating. I think that was what the state was called when they're trying to get behind you. Let me see if I can make them. But yeah, as you can see, the bullet is trying to get to the future position where that guy will be. And it's stupid that it's so hard to hit. I remembered it being easier. I'm not sure why. Maybe there was some update to Unreal Engine in the meantime, but yeah, missiles work as you'd expect. You just hit the guy and bang, he's dead now. And when they die, they spawn. Hold up. They spawn a crate of loot, which you can send your harpoon to capture. And now supposedly you've got the loot in your cargo hold. This is a mechanic which I copied from, not from Ace Combat, but from Galaxy on Fire. We've got these white neutral ships here. There's also a faction system. As you can see, they're not attacking me. They're supposed to be attacking the other guys, which are showing red on my radar. And now I've got that guy in the. I had him in the green cone, and now I'm trying to get a lock onto him. So you see, you need some time to lock onto him. And now, yeah, if they move out of the orange cone, you lose the lock on. If they move on for a little while, like now, and you have to acquire the target again. So now, as you can see, enemies and ships which I'm not focused on have a bordered circle around him. But if you if you focus on some guy, as I'm doing now, now he's got, I'm focused onto him, which is to say that this little tracking triangle is gonna appear there. This is helpful when you're in a tough dogfight and you're not gonna check the radar every single time. You can, if they're moving around and stuff, you can just see where the guy is and how you should rotate in order to get him in your view. There's also some, I've showed you the simple controls, which is just WASD, and the mouse doesn't do anything. And Ace Combat comes with two control schemes generally. There's these easy controls, and there's the complicated, the complex controls, which offer you some better control over your ship, right? They allow you to better maneuver. So the event graph for the player is kind of messy because there's a lot of functionality in here. The simple controls are defined here, WS and AD, but let me open the game instance. I've implemented some things related to configuration here. If you can see that we've got player faction hostility relations, dead pawns. This is used in order to update the radar controls. Where was it? Hold on, I forgot how to use this stuff. Here we go. So controls from simple, advanced. And now our ship should control kind of differently. So A and D move like this. W and S, I think they change the speed. And as you can see, this was rolling, I think. Yeah, it was rolling because you can do kind of a barrel roll like this. We've got pitching, we've got yawing, and we've got, this is the yawing. Pitching is like this, and rolling is like this. And these are actually the better, this is the better control scheme because it allows you to do maneuvers like this. It makes you a bit nauseous, and I don't know what that thing is, why it's aiming where it is. I didn't seems like I didn't debug the ballistics equation for this control scheme. But it's there. I had some fun implementing this. Let's switch it back. Simple controls. Let's look and see what else is there. So we've got camera controls, and apparently there's 2 cameras for the player, and I think I disabled the no, I didn't. So you can look on your rear and see what the enemies are doing. Actually, let's take a look real quick. I want to see them changing their headings in order to get behind me. So let's look at that guy. He's trying to shift his orientation, and the enemies are slightly faster than you are, and they're gonna catch up to you and start shooting. So what else? Booster, you've seen me use it a little. Stations. Now, this was supposed to happen, the game was supposed to happen on a planet with multiple stations, and you could move around and trade and fight different enemies and all that kind of stuff. And I went ahead and implemented some dummy functionality here. Let's try to find a station. It's supposed to be that red sphere there. That's its range for docking. It's called XAV. They were supposed to have different models. and I made this model for this station. Let's press L and dock onto it, so you can see it's called the Station XAV. We can depart to it and it will spawn us outside again. Now it's lagging. This wasn't supposed to be happening. I think they've done some updates to the engine, because this wasn't happening before, and determine hostile ships, or maybe I screwed something up, because again this was implemented in the beginning, and then I tried to finish the combat stuff, and I did, but didn't account for this apparently. There's something like a menu, you can quit the game, and the map towards the other stations, and we've got XAV, VXA, AVX, because I was too lazy to make models. Let's say you want to go to AVX, you click back and you depart, and you're setting course for that station. And now we've spawned here. Again, we're lagging, but you can see that we're at station AVX, and it loaded the station, the model for AVX. Okay. Oh, okay. We're back here. What else was there? So this is the hyperdrive thing, which I've just shown that if you choose a target station when you're inside a station, it's gonna set course for that. I'm not sure if you could toggle not going there or something, but again, it was supposed to be the mechanics for the for moving around the planet. The GUI just tracks your hull, so you actually can die if you let these guys hit you too much. Again, they hit me point blank, but the hitboxes are basically very thin. Makes gameplay really uninteresting. Faction system. That's the explanation for why some ships are hostile and why some aren't. I don't remember if I made the NPCs be hostile amongst themselves. I did implement something, but I think I did, but I didn't make the AI good enough. We'll get there. So radar pings, they're they just add some more widgets. I think they're called. They spawn widgets on top of the screen, and they keep updating their positions as the enemies are moving. What else? This is the event tick, so this is the stuff that gets updated in the gameplay loop. Hostile ships, maybe there's some enemies that are spawning and you need to update them during gameplay. Ships and components in missile line of sight, so this is where the computations for weather, for shooting are done basically. This is where where it's computed to the fact where you're computing whether the ship is in your line of sight, whether you can focus. Progress widget, again, this there's those progress bars for locking onto an enemy or something, checking whether they're alive. If another enemy kills like if an NPC kills your enemy, it's gonna remove that, or that's what it's supposed to be doing at least. So missile guidance again. I don't know if I don't know why they look so similar. Don't remember exactly. Launch harpoon, that's the square which I showed. You're supposed to aim at a crate in order to capture the crate with loot. Tracker lock. Again, these are some very there's some basic functions for movement. Simple movement does some compensation to keep you with to not allow you to reverse your up vector, basically. So you're always with your head up. You can't do barrel rolls and stuff. That's why they're simple controls. You don't have to think about it very much. And then there's roll, which does an update on the rotation vector for the roll component. Pitch does pitch, and yaw does yaw, and those are allow ace combat like movement. Okay, this is the blueprint for the player ship. It inherits from the normal ship. Again, we've got some functions for updating the models of the control surfaces. As you've seen, there's no actual control surfaces made because I didn't want to bother. I mean, these were working, but I de-implemented them kind of. Receive damage and this kind of stuff just checks whether your ship should be alive. Relative actor position angle. I think these are for AI. Let's take a look at the AI thing. So you've got a function for, I've tried to make them random, right? Because they were always going going around in circles, and yeah. And I added some randomness for making them adding some random offset and having them stay in one state for the state machine, having them stay in that state for a random period of time, sort of. Let's take a look. Setting state here. We have if they're supposed to be switching states, there's no, let's look at the states for a little. So the state behaviors, we've got oh yeah, and there's pilot skill involved, so you can have based on the game difficulty, if you make it very difficult, you're gonna have very skilled pilots, and those are gonna change their states very quickly based on what you're doing. And let's see. So state one is convergence. Means just you're just going to your enemy to engage them in a dogfight. It ends when you're close enough to them. State 2 is tailgating, pursuing them from behind, or trying to get in that position to pursue them from behind. That's why you've seen all of those enemies tailgating me, but they weren't actually shooting because they weren't close enough. we've got state 4. I think this was supposed to be, but there's no debugging output for this. But this is what happens when they go straight towards you. So instead of just converging, which you've seen, you're seeing them converging now, but now they're actually shooting. They're not just converging, and when they're very close, instead of crashing into me, they change their direction so that we don't all die. See, they're shooting for a bit and they're breaking at a random angle. This is why it's called fire, then break and get behind. Get behind means they're gonna tailgate, I think. Let's see what else. State 3 is comes after tailgating and just means they get close enough when you're in their gun range, they start shooting. State 5 comes after state 4 apparently, and I made them as you've seen, I made them break to a random point so that they don't just always go in the same direction when you go like that, and they move to some waypoint based on it's quasi a random offset based on where you're at, so that they don't go to a random point in space. They go to a random point around you and they head towards that in order to, that's where they break to. Okay. And that's the dogfight waypoint, and I don't know where that one was used, but okay. And the switching logic is based on the relative actor position angle. So there, the enemy ship versus the player's ship, or two enemy ships in general, they have some angle of orientation. No, they have an angle of the position, and the orientation is the heading angle. So there is some positioning going around here, and some heading switching logic. So you've got whether they're in front of each other, behind them. I think I'm not sure exactly, but there were just some states for switching whether they're just to these are here just to account for how the enemy should proceed relative to where the player is, right? So any other position, they're just gonna converge, I think. No, not converge, tailgate. There's the case where they're facing each other, and then they're both of them are looking at each other, and they're in the direct front of each other. So as is the case there, where they fire, then break and get behind. There's also being in the direct front of each other, but one is behind the other, and that's gonna do the convergence firing state. That's kind of how the AI here works. Let's see if there's anything else. Nothing much. Again, there's gunning and targeting logic maybe. Yeah. This is so the player has the option to focus on whichever enemy they want, because they can scan the enemy like I've shown. But the AI is gonna target something based on proximity, I think, and disengage the players, the targets that they've engaged but haven't been killed by a player or something. Yeah, so engagement is done based on, and focusing is done based on how close they are. And there was some other, supposedly there were other considerations, such as maybe there's a guy right behind you who's very close, but maybe you've got an opportunity to kill another guy in front of you. You've got an angle on him and you should kill that guy, but I don't think I've added the consideration, I didn't add logic to take that stuff into consideration. Set the closest pawn as the target. So didn't bother with that apparently. Let's see what else. Projectile logic, maybe. No, this is just a class. I think the bullet. The bullet is based on the torpedo, which is not guided. The guiding of the torpedo is just done based on where the target is at, and this is updated constantly at every tick. That's kind of it, I guess. There's the GUIs. So the assets are just the models, and the images are for the GUI. These are the other relevant things which I've worked on besides the models and the combat. This is the logic for the station menu, for the map of the station menu actually. This is for the station menu. Just calls the other function to actually it configures the stuff in the main game instance to set the target for the no, this is to choose which name to display. To open level by name happens when you click on depart, I think. Yeah, it's when you click on depart, it opens the level called outside. There's also the level called inside, which is the station. And as you've seen, this outside level always spawns those bots, and the inside doesn't spawn you with the pawn of the plane of the ship. You're just some random spectator mode, and there's no enemies either. This is a different level. Let's see what else. So the GUIs for the ships. This is the player's GUI, and we have the logic for the radar pings. Again, you can, if you had friendly ships, which I disabled for, it's just some based on the faction logic. If they're in the same faction as the player, they're gonna be friendly. Otherwise, they're just gonna be neutral, I think. But if they're hostile, they're red. It's just some data structures stuff here. Parses through the array and renders them. I think I'm not even sure if these are really optimized, but they got the job done, and I was trying to make something, and when I was finished with it, I was gonna optimize it, but again, I kind of lost interest. What else? This is for that one. Radar ping. It's got some properties, but nothing exactly. Tracker. Oh, this one is interactive because we've got a health bar here. And so first off, we can set the HP bar in the tracker. We can change their colors based on faction relations. So if they're hostile, they're gonna be red. This stuff gets updated. Render transform. Oh yeah, this one changes the progress, it's called, of this bar. So whether it's filled to the fullest or just empty to some degree. Oh no, hold on. This is for something else. The rotation stuff. It's for when you're scanning them, I remember. So when you're scanning to get a lock on, as you've seen, it rotates at 30 degrees per second there. The progress for that thing is the not the HP bar. HP percentage, that's the one. And I think it's just tied here directly. HP percentage. But oh, and it's here too. It's like updated HP percentage is updated based on the current hole and the max hole. This is max is gonna be 100, and if a bullet hits you, it's gonna subtract 1, and then you get 90%, for instance. What else? There's HUD cursor. This is for the gun, or for focusing or stuff like that. There's also this gradient circle. I think this one was for how quick you can focus on a ship. So you've seen, you're seeing it update for a little, but I haven't actually focused. But I can focus on one, and then it's like that. I don't know why it got stuck. Again, it was working before. This guy isn't in my range, right? No. Okay, yeah, now I've got him focused. Not locked. I can also get some bullets to him and some... Yeah, I think they've done some updates because the combat was working fine before. Now they don't die instantly because this is also copied from Galaxy on Fire. They take a little time to crash their ship before it explodes and stuff. obviously I could make them die instantly. And the enemy pointer, this one was some real fun to implement, if I can get a function. Where was it? Was it bound to something? I think no. This is just an image. I think it's in the ship UI, and I think it's handled here. Was it here? No, radar ping. This is for this calculates where the pings are supposed to be placed on the radar. This was also fun, but it was just some rotation formulas, nothing really fancy. I don't remember where the enemy pointer was handled. Not here. Maybe in the... It shouldn't be here. Where should focus? It really should be here. Oh, it's here. As you can see, I was I was having a great time with it. So there was I was trying to compute where it was in space and take that stuff and plot it on an ellipse formula, because you're seeing it get updated, rotated on an ellipse, right? See, it's an... hold on, I need to... By the way, you can change the speed like this, and you can start falling if your velocity isn't high enough. And so when that guy is out of my screen, this stuff is gonna move on an ellipse. You have got higher maneuverability when you're at a low speed, just like Ace Combat. So you're seeing it, you're seeing the pointer move on an ellipse, right? That wasn't the worst thing. Worst of all was, I think, figuring out, as you're seeing, I've done it based on maps and stuff. It was really cumbersome. And then there is getting how compressed the arrow should be, because it should be extended to the max when the enemy is very far. It takes you a lot to rotate, but it should be if it doesn't take you a lot to rotate towards him, it should be kind of compressed, so not very stretched. See, now it's a lot to rotate. It takes a lot to rotate, but as you rotate closer, it gets more pressed, right? And you don't display it if you're at below 45. Again, this was kind of easy, just does some scaling based on the angle, the relative position angle. I guess that's kind of it. So besides all of this, I haven't done a huge amount of stuff. I guess I took the time to try and make something out of this. Um, like I said, I got kind of bored and didn't wanna. I had some brilliant idea, mind you. It was kind of nice, but I got disinterested and didn't want to bother with modeling, because when I get into modeling, I actually really get into it and forget about everything else, and I didn't want to get creative, because there was some other stuff to do as well besides modeling. There's other things in life to do besides creating models in Blender, so I didn't get creative with it, and I've kind of just left this as it is. I have the algorithm. I can go and make some new implementation of it whenever I feel like it, even if the project breaks, which apparently it is breaking as as Unreal Engine is getting updated, which is to be expected, right? But yeah, it was my attempt at doing an indie game, right? I wanted to see what that would take, and it takes a lot, right? I was really bothered by the fact that I had to do the programming and the models and the content and everything else, and it was kind of a big project, and being a game dev isn't my dream necessarily, so that explains why there wasn't much dedication put into it. But I wanted to make a product. That was the focus of everything. But yeah, I guess that's kind of it. So thanks for sticking through this video, and I'll see you in the next one, I guess.